Okay. Extras. Okay, we are back from closed session. We will open the board meeting, and normally when we come back from closed session, the first thing we do is to read the actions taken in closed session. We will do that, but first I have been advised from legal counsel to read this. At the last board meeting, the board reported approval in closed session of 3 separate leaves of absence for 3 part-time classified employees. Those reports were incorrect. The approval was for 3 separate unpaid leaves of absence without benefits. The minutes of tonight's meetings will reflect the corrected report from last month's closed session. And with that, we will now ask our Vice President, who is stepping into the shoes of the clerk of the board, to read actions taken in tonight's closed session. Trustee Pendergast.
Okay. On a 5-0 vote with Trustee Milchiker absent, the board approved the appointment of Linda Fontanilla as Vice President for Student Services, Irvine Valley College. On a 5-0 vote with Trustee Milchiker absent, the board approved a 2-month extension of a previously board-approved unpaid leave with benefits granted in April 2012. Those are the only reports.
All right, thank you. And with that, if you would please rise for the invocation to be led by Trustee Mike Meldau.
I was privileged to be at the pinning for the nurses this year, as I was last year, and I was reminded recently of the importance and service that our medical professionals provide for us on a daily basis, and I would like to ask for a moment of silence to reflect upon their service to this country. Thank you.
All right, and I'll lead in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join with me in honoring our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we are now at resolutions and recognition. So our first recognition is for Irvine Valley College's Bill Hewitt, and I'm going to ask our President, Glenn Rockmore, to please make this announcement and recognition. Yes.
Thank you very much, President Padberg. It's my pleasure to do this tonight. The Faculty Association of the California Community Colleges, known as FAC, recently honored recipients for their leadership and advocacy on behalf of the community college faculty and students at their 4th annual Advocacy and Policy Conference. These annual awards are presented to those who demonstrate outstanding commitment to the preservation of the California community colleges, a critical component of higher education and economic recovery. Bill Hewitt of Irvine Valley College, recently retired, as you know, received the John Vasconcellos Advocate of the Year Award, named for Senator John Vasconcellos. This award is presented to an outstanding full-time faculty advocate whose work impacts faculty statewide. Examples include advocacy at the legislature or at the state chancellor's office and holding positions in statewide faculty organizations. John Vasconcellos, Advocate of the Year award winner, Bill Hewitt is the past president of FAC. As we know, Bill has been an educational advocate all throughout his career. He's been instrumental in developing community college legislation and serving on numerous state and local advisory committees focused on at-risk students within higher education. And Bill has been with FAC, a member of FAC since 1987. I wanted to take this opportunity because I didn't want Bill to get away on retirement, although there's no sense that he's trying to get away, but to thank him for all that he has done through the years for our special needs students that we have at the community college in building a program that was known statewide. Absolutely a model. Bill was called on often to those that are trying to model programs like the one that he has built. Bill has a gigantic heart, and that was reflected in all of his work that he did through the years at Irvine Valley College. So I'm not presenting the award. That has already been presented, but I would like you to see it. This is the award given by FAC to Bill Hewitt. It's the John Vasconcelos Award, Advocate of the Year. And I'd like to congratulate Bill. Thank you.
Congratulations.
He told me that I had just a minute to talk, so let me pull out the speech here. Actually, I just want to say a couple of words. First of all, I want you to know that it's been a privilege to work in the South Orange County Community College District for the past 26 years. I was the first faculty member and only faculty member hired in 1985 when the school became its own school instead of Saddleback North. And I remember clearly the chancellor at that point saying, well, we have a token Irvine Valley College full-time faculty member for the year that they opened. And I look back on that, and it was like there was nothing there. There were no programs. Everything was run by Saddleback. And so over the years, I was responsible for developing the financial aid program, the child care program, the EOPS program, the DSPNS program, the learning disabilities program, the single parent program, the emeritus, or not the emeritus, but the amnesty program. And I actually had a ball. It was so much fun. But frankly, it was because of the leadership that this district has, and because of the board and the people that are on the board. I enjoy my relationship with all of you, and it's been a wonderful path. So I thank you for giving me that privilege. Thank you.
All right, and our next recognition is from Saddleback College, and that goes to Sandy Marzelli, and President Burnett will present that. Come forward, please, Ms. Marzelli.
Hi, Sandy. Madam President, Board of Trustees, honored guest. I'm very excited, but not really so, to actually present to the board Sandy Marzelli, who's our director of our emeritus program that she's been since 1990. 99. She started the college in 1990. Yes. Sorry about that, for 22 years. We are thrilled that Sandy has been with us and done such a phenomenal job for 22 years. She has built the program. It's grown about 22%. It has become, I would say, probably the finest emeritus program in the state, also represented by our board and our community and how important older adult educational programs are. And it really has been a testament to you and all that you've done. So with that, we are thrilled today to give you an official plaque on behalf of Saddleback College, recognizing you for your wonderful service to the community. And I don't know if the board knows, but certainly a lot of people know, Sandy's leaving, but she will be coming back and be helping out, continuing to help the older adult population by working with our foundation in plan giving and reaching out and helping, which is a wonderful service, actually, to our community, as well as helping the foundation, helping our college, which then will also hopefully help future emeritus students as well. So I'm not going to say much because I like to give you an opportunity, Sandy, but
Can we just clap?
Oh my goodness, I am very humbled. I have been honored and privileged to work for Saddleback College and to be under the guidance of our South Orange County Community College District Board of Trustees. This is very difficult for me. Those of you that know me well know that the Emeritus Institute has really meant the world to me. It's been my second family, and I've watched it grow, and I've seen what it has done for our older adult population, and I have been so proud of that. And without the support of Saddleback College and all of you, this might not have been possible. And so on behalf of all the thousands, and I'm talking thousands, of older adults that have been through our program and are continuing in our program, I thank each and every one of you for your endless support in keeping this program alive and well. I will be moving on, and as I said, that's bittersweet, but I will continue to be working with the seniors, and I will have the privilege of attending emeritus classes myself. So I'm very excited about that too. But thank you all so very much from all of us seniors, and we will continue on. Saddleback is a hard habit to break. Thank you.
May I continue?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, could we just announce the next recognition is going to Saddleback College employee John Polikidis. Did I say that right?
Polikidis.
Polikidis.
Come on,
All right,
John.
come forward.
Hi, John. Come on up. I have a very special treat. It is bittersweet, but we wanted to present to the board, to the public, and to our Saddleback College family really a hero and a wonderful man is retiring. Finally, well, let me introduce you to John Polikidis. John is a night custodian. He has worked here 33 and a half years, and he is retiring tonight, or this week, at the age of 94. I also found out tonight that he actually lives in Anaheim. So he drives all the way to Anaheim for 33 and a half years as a night custodian. Wow, you really are a hero to all of us at the campus. But let me tell you more about John, to tell you about this fine gentleman. Before he came to Saddleback, John retired from another 30 and a half year career with the LA City Fire Department. And before that, John served in the military where he fought in World War II, the 94th Infantry Division, and in the Battle of the Bulge. So this is an extremely small token of our appreciation. We just wanted to give you a Saddleback College certificate here of your wonderful service to our college, to our district, to our students, and to our country. So, John, here for you.
Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words, maybe?
Well, after 33 and a half years, I really enjoyed the college. Otherwise, I never would have been here. And I started working here with the idea of about 2 years. And the kids were small, and I thought they would be growing up then. And then little by little, things happened, and I ended up at 33 years, so it's and I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Flowers. Flowers. How's that? You like that?
Yeah, sure.
You want to come up, Mike? Come on up, Mike.
That is great. And our final recognition tonight goes to Dr. Jim Wright.
Yes, we got a threesome tonight. Well, like with Sandy Marzilli, Saddleback College is having another bittersweet. We're losing another highly accomplished administrator at Saddleback College. But like with Sandy, we're not going to be losing him fully, which is wonderful as well. As I think Sandy said, it's a hard habit to break, right? Saddleback College and this district. With that, of course, I'm talking about Dr. Jim Wright, who has been our esteemed Dean of Math, Science, and Engineering for 18 years. But he's actually worked in the district for 18 years, I'm sorry, and then the dean was before that, correct, for 14 years. So with that, Jim, I'd love to give you an opportunity to come up and talk to the crowd, but once again, we have a plaque here commemorating your 14 years.
Thank you, Dr. Burnett. Thank you very, very much. Again, I'm deeply humbled and honored to be here this evening. This has been a very wonderful evening. I want to express my sincere thanks to everyone here, particularly to the faculty and staff of the Division of Math, Science, Engineering, who have been so supportive these past 14 years as their dean, and also I was also 4 years as a faculty member. I received tenure just before I became the dean, so I always had a fallback position. This has been a wonderful second career. I spent a number of years on active duty in the United States Air Force, and then this has been a great second year. I've been involved now. I've been working for almost 50 years, and I don't. It's going to be hard not to have to come to work. And I've been thinking about that as I've been coming to work. Boy, it's getting up early in the morning, coming to work, and so forth. But I just want to thank the board, the district, the college, and everyone here for all that you've done for me. And then before I close, I want to express a most sincere thanks and love to my wonderful wife. We've been married for over 44 plus years, so thank you.
We're going to take a picture. We're going to be taking a lot of pictures.
Okay, thank you very much. And that concludes our recognitions. We are now at public comments, and I see that President Rockmore, you had wanted to speak. Is that what you just did? Okay, thank you. Then we have Mickey Meluchek. Come forward, please. You wanted to talk about reorganization of student services at Saddleback College.
So I can see. Thank you. I would like to thank the board, the Chancellor, the Saddleback College President and Administration for making changes that will help move transfer and student success forward. I know the college administration met with the various divisions, departments, and shared governance groups to share this plan. Change is hard. I support the reorganization of student services at Saddleback College. Under new leadership, the transfer function and transfer center will experience creativity, innovation, and technology that will foster more transfer culture and take the transfer function and center to a new level and vision. I'm hoping that the transfer center can follow in the footsteps of our vet center. And just a few years ago, this was a concept, and now it's a reality, and looked upon statewide as a model vet center. I hope the transfer center can follow in those footsteps. Thank you.
All right, we are now at reports, and we will start with board reports. Trustee Jay.
Yes, there's just one thing I want to mention, and that's a big thing, by the way. Having worked for Dr. Jim Wright in the Math Science Division, and I guess at one time he worked for me, but we still remain friends, terrific friends, and I want to congratulate you, Jim, on your tremendous work here and in the future. By the way, this evening, for those of you who came in late, who didn't witness this, the Board of Trustees voted Dr. Jim Wright, the board, to fill a board vacancy. So we're very pleased to have you as a member of our board.
And Trustee Jay, just to clarify, that will not be effective until he is actually retired, because it would be a conflict. So, Trustee Meldau.
I'd like to also congratulate Dr. Wright. I look forward to seeing you up here with us, Dr. Wright. And other than that, no report. Thank you.
Okay.
Congratulations to all those recognized this evening: Bill Hewitt, Sandy Marzilli, John Polakaitis, and Jim Wright. In particular, Sandy, I don't think the teachers at Foothill are going to be real happy to hear that there's now pressure on Al to retire as principal to keep, pace with you. I think there's some secret information out there that I might have to be wary of. That's all.
Okay, thank you. And I would just, again, like to congratulate all of the award recipients and the two retirees tonight, and congratulate Dr. Wright for the appointment that we did earlier. And we look forward to you July 1 participating as an active member of this board, at least until the election comes. All right, and next we'd have Trustee Lang.
Yes, I'll echo the congratulations of my fellow trustees, and that'll be it for my report.
Okay. And Student Trustee?
No report.
No report. All right, we will, I'm sorry, Chancellor's report? Excuse me.
A couple of things I'd like to report on. One is that on May 30th, a large group of faculty, staff, and administrators held a retreat to review progress on the district-wide strategic plan. For the first time, the district had adopted a district-wide plan. Each of the colleges had college plans. This was the first district-wide plan and been in effect for a year, so there was an annual retreat to review the plan and how things were going. Were we making sufficient progress? There are 6 goals, 77 separate action steps. One thing that the group decided is that next time it does a plan, it won't have so many action steps. It'd rather try to combine them so there aren't so many discrete things to track. The first goal in that strategic plan is that there should be a focus on creating a district-wide culture that is characterized by mutual respect and collaboration. On June 12th, a group, again, large group, held another retreat to focus solely on the development of mutual respect and collaboration. There was a healthy exchange of ideas. The purpose of the retreat was to provide input to the presidents who are to develop, who are to identify the 5 major barriers and to develop a plan for addressing those problems. I'd also like to give you a brief update, legislative update. As you know from past board meetings, we've been advocates of 3 separate bills that would help our veterans. One bill, AB 2478, would extend the out-of-state tuition waiver for 2 years. AB 2133 extends priority registration to 15 years, which would align it with the federal GI Bill period. And then another, AB 2462, would allow institutions to provide academic credit for prior military academic experience. All 3 of these bills passed unanimously through the Assembly and are now in the Senate. So we're hopeful that probably by the next meeting that we'll find that they're through the Senate. Another important piece of legislation, AB 1456, which is known as the Student Success Act, and it would enact recommendations from the Student Success Task Force, and this bill easily passed in the Senate and is now in the Assembly. This legislation would help streamline community college priorities to focus on student success. The college presidents and I will be presenting an information discussion item at the next board meeting in July on the college completion agenda.
Okay, thank you. And we are now at board requests for reports. Do I have any board members requesting a report? Okay, seeing none, we will, before we go, well, there's no discussion item, which is 4.0, but before we go to the consent calendar, we are going to advance 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3. 6.1 is a public hearing, so we will be at that point in the agenda. Certification of the program environmental impact report for the 2011 Saddleback College Facilities Master Plan and the 2011 Irvine Valley College Facilities Master Plan pursuant to California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA. We will have a public hearing on this item, but before we do that, we would like to have Vice Chancellor Deborah Fitzsimmons provide an introduction.
Yes. This agenda item pertains to a public hearing to consider the certification of the Program Environmental Impact Report, which is referred to as the EIR, as stated on the agenda item before you. Public notices have invited all interested parties to attend this public hearing and express opinions about the facilities master plans for Saddleback and Irvine Valley Colleges and the related CEQA compliance. We have hard copies of the Educational Facilities Master Plan and the report on the dais if anyone needs to refer to them. The California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, requires public agencies to determine the significance of the environmental effects caused by a project. Any significant impact requires an environmental impact report, commonly referred to as an EIR. The Educational and Facilities Master Plan identifies projects planned over the next 20 years and triggers the need for an EIR. The process for finalizing this report includes providing the opportunity for public comment. The report includes responses to 7 comment letters received during the 45-day public comment period concluded on May 31st, 2012. A comment letter received after the time of publication today was received, and the district's response was provided to each board member this evening. If there are any questions or responses needed regarding this time before or after public hearing is open, we have Executive Director Brandy Delana and our consultant Jeremy Kraut from RGP Planning and Development present this evening to assist.
Okay. Does the board have any questions to staff or our consultants to assist with their understanding of this matter? Trustee Lang?
Just that I noted that there was a late comment that we received, so I would hope that in any presentation that would be addressed.
Okay. And anyone else? Seeing no one else, we will now open the public hearing, and item 6.1, it's now open. So we'll now hear any public comments or testimony. Comments are not to exceed 5 minutes. Is there anyone who wishes to speak? I don't have any request or see anyone's hand or anyone wanting to come forward.
Would you like our consultant to discuss the late submission
Yes,
of the
that would be
comments
nice if you could do that, please. We all did receive that.
Thank you, President Padberg and Board of Trustees. My name is Jeremy Kraut with RGP Planning and Development Services. I assisted the district with the preparation of the environmental impact report that you're considering tonight for the facilities master plans. And as we heard, the comment period for the EIR was a 45-day public comment period pursuant to California Environmental Quality Act laws, and that ran from up until May 31st, 2012. We did have some comment letters during that period, and we sent responses to each of those comment letters, and that was sent at least 10 days prior to this hearing. That's required by CEQA. One of the comment letters was received from the City of Irvine during that period, and we responded, and that's the nature of this comment letter that you see before you tonight. That was received today after the public comment period, and CEQA does not require that you respond to those late comment letters, but we did so anyway because we felt that would be better for the record, public record, to have a response in there. So the response that you see before you has a couple pages, where the first page just describes that letter or the nature of the comment period and that it came in late. Second page is the comment letter from the City of Irvine. And the comment is really related simply to the traffic study and the scope of the area that was analyzed. In the traffic study, they identified some numbers in there that might be not exactly clear to you, but I'll boil it down to the fact that the traffic consultant that the district hired as part of this EIR process is one that the City of Irvine often uses in all of their traffic studies. They also were the ones that prepared and own the traffic model that the City of Irvine uses, so they're very familiar with the City of Irvine process and analyses. They also use the methodology that the City of Irvine uses for all of their projects. So the response, which is the third page of the document, clarifies that, yes, in fact, we did use the City of Irvine methodology, and we did analyze the intersections that were required to be analyzed for the IVC component of the facilities master plan, and all of that should be is consistent with the City of Irvine practices. So it's really just a clarification comment, and the response that clarifies accordingly.
Any questions or comments from the board to our staff person? Okay. Thank you. The public hearing is now closed. Chancellor Portner, does the staff have any responses to the public comments, including any written comments received prior to or during the meeting? You're shaking your head. If you could audibly shake your head, that would be good. No. Okay. And Chancellor? No. All right. Is there any further discussion on this matter from the board? Okay. Seeing none, 6.1 is now concluded. We will move to 6.2, which also refers to the Facilities Master Plan. It certifies the EIR we just discussed. So we would be adopting Resolution Number 12-24, certification of the Program Environmental Impact Report for the 2011 Saddleback College Facilities Master Plan and the 2011 Irvine Valley College Facilities Master Plan pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act. So I would now entertain a motion to approve. Moved by Trustee Lang, seconded by Trustee Prendergast, and this is now a roll call vote. So would you call the roll, please?
Trustee Jay?
Aye.
Trustee Lang?
Aye.
Trustee Meldau?
Aye.
Trustee Padberg?
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast?
Aye.
Student Trustee Park?
Okay, thank you very much. So that passes 6.2. So now that is certified, we will now move to approve the final Education and Facilities Master Plan. That's the EFMP. This is item 6.3, and we would want to adopt Resolution Number 12-26 to approve the 2011 to 2031 Educational and Facilities Master Plan. Does the board have any questions to staff or our consultants to assist with their understanding of this matter? See. Okay.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Lang, seconded by Trustee Jay. Let's have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Jay?
Aye.
Trustee Lang? Trustee Meldau?
Aye.
Trustee Padberg?
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast?
Aye.
Student Trustee Park?
Okay, thank you very much. We have now concluded those items that were advanced, so we're going to move back to the consent calendar. Do I have anyone wanting to pull anything from the consent calendar? Trustee Lang.
Yes, I have 4 items.
4 items to pull.
That would be 5.9, 513, 516, and 518.
Okay. So you're pulling those. Anyone object to pulling those items? No. All right. So any other items to be pulled? Trustee Prendergast. Trustee Prendergast?
Move approval of the consent calendar minus 5.9, 5.13, 5.16, and 5.18.
Do you have a second? Trustee Jay, do you want a second?
Aye.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the rest of the consent calendar. Anyone wishing to comment? Seeing none, let's vote by our buttons. Thank you. Okay, matter is approved unanimously with one trustee absent, two actually absent seats, and a student advisory yes vote. Okay. So now we will go to 5.9. Trustee Lang?
Yes, my only comment on 5.9, I think I'm going to make the motion that we approve this for review and study, but in the future I would like to have the earlier iteration of the vision and mission statements so that they can be compared with the ones that are now being presented.
Show the changes, in other words.
Yes, thank
you. Okay, so, but we
Moving
need...
approval.
You're moving, and who seconds?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Meldau. So let's all vote on 5.13. I'm sorry, 5.9. Sorry, 5.9. Okay, carries unanimously with one trustee absent, two absence, vacant seat, and a student advisory yes vote. Now we will go to 5.13. Trustee Lang.
Yes, I think there were probably a few of us that were troubled by the idea of accepting at one time a collection and now having to pay $100,000 to get rid of it. And so I wanted to have administration comment about that and also about any board policies that we now have in place that would prevent this from happening in the future. Thank you.
Okay, and with us, our ATEP person to talk. Mr. Peoples.
Thank you. I'll see if I can help there. I think I got to take care of this because, in fact, these fossils are currently stored on the ATAP campus site, and basically the collection is in two containers, cargo containers, and it's about 20,000 pounds of material. They were excavated from a construction project in Irvine, basically back in about 1996. And at that time, apparently, and we don't have the exact records on this, but individuals from faculty from the Irvine Valley were participating on the dig and the excavation, and there was an interest by at least staff at IVC to have this collection on site. So as the project finished and they were all collected and put on trucks, the collection did in fact arrive at Irvine Valley College in 1997, and the reports indicate that there is an agreement that IVC would have and save and curate the collection. The staff has used those at some low levels for the years, but of course that volume and the extent of this whale fossil collection was more than staff could really take care of. About 2 years ago, Chancellor Dixie Bullock, I think, brought this forward for at least a brief discussion, and we looked at the possibility of transferring it back to the County of Orange. At that time, the County of Orange had more fossils than it could deal with that were abandoned and otherwise transferred to the county. And since then, the county has made an agreement with Cal State Fullerton and with the Cooper Center, which is a new archaeological and paleontological center at CSU Fullerton, to start to take care of the county collection. And through using a facilities corporation at Cal State Fullerton, in order to curate these, funds will be required from construction companies and others finding such fossils. And since we apparently are the owners of this collection, the amount and the dollar amount indicated there is what they call the beginning fee or an amount to start curation, to house the collection basically forever. They will accept the collection and its full responsibility and take that away from us. Otherwise, there is a requirement in the County of Orange that such collections be retained in the county, and that there's a responsibility that they be saved, curated, and then shown to the public in such a way that we can commemorate the history of the county. So there is at least a significant responsibility to the company finding such bones on their property or those that find themselves in possession.
Okay. Any further questions or comments from the board?
Just,
Trustee, I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say, just to add to that second question that Trustee Lang asked, as far as do we have a policy in place, we do have a policy on gifts and donations to the district and to the colleges. And as you know, every month we do have those donations on the board item for your ratification. And so there is a process in place for vetting those and ensuring that if there's costs related to a gift, that they can be accepted and we can commit ourselves to that.
Trustee Pendergast.
So just to be clear, our choice really is we pay this $100,000 or we provide the money to move these things to Cal State Fullerton and to the Cooper Center, or we spend probably far more than that to build something to show them ourselves. Is that accurate?
Yes, I'd say that, and then the staffing and
Right.
the expertise to do that, which would be challenging.
Okay. Trustee Lang, did you want to say something else?
Yeah, just real quickly, for Vice Chancellor Fitzsimmons, the policy that you've cited, does that predate the receipt of this gift or not?
No, it was, it's been updated numerous times since, and I believe probably, we could take a look at the wording again, but I believe
But it was in existence at the time?
I would have to look at the date of the original fossil acceptance and determine whether it was around the same time period. It was in the 90s.
The Chancellor asked me to look that up this afternoon, and it was about 2 years prior. There was a policy, but I don't have the original language, but there was a policy for the board
This
accepting.
may or may not be a situation of where policy was not followed at the time the gift was accepted.
There seems to be a gap there.
Okay. And then I think the question came up as to whether we had pursued any other possibilities of organizations that might be willing to take over the collection, in the state that it's in, including, museums, perhaps, other public type of organizations, that sort of thing.
Good question. Apparently, there were exhaustive searches by administrators even before me looking for such a place in and out of the county or in the state of California. And most of those requests, simply weren't responded to, and that there has not been any other interest. I did a similar search myself and found the same results.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
Trustee Pendergast, seconded by Trustee Meldau. Let's vote on the item. So, Trustee Jay, there we go. Carries unanimously with 2 absent spots and a student advisory yes vote. We're now at 5.16. Trustee Lang.
Yes, just apparently when this item originally come to us, the supporting bid information was incorrect, but that's now been corrected with revised information that we have received tonight. So I just wanted to clarify that for the board, and I don't know whether you want to make any other comments.
Just thank you. I appreciate your eagle eyes for pointing that out. We did correct this item, so you have a replacement page which says Exhibit A on it. And it also has notes so that you can understand that North State Environmental did have the lowest bid. The staff had to calculate the unit cost against actual usage because 2 of the vendors didn't really, it wasn't comparing apples to apples, so to speak.
Okay. It's a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Meldau. Let's all vote on the item. Trustee Jay. Okay, matter carries unanimously with 2 absent votes and a student advisory yes vote. And I believe we have 5.18. Trustee Lang.
Yes, on 5.8, in the background information, this is regarding the 5-year construction plan revisions, And it mentioned in here about projected enrollments actually having declined, which is the reason for, I guess, shuffling the priority of projects here. And I just wanted to have a comment about that, because I think my perception is that enrollments were going in the other direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. As you know, the state takes a look at our projected enrollments, and they do a calculation. And the projected enrollments did decrease by 6.25%, and it does affect our eligibility then for state-funded projects, because they're anticipating spaces in the order of priority of our 5-year construction plan. And basically, if you can look at Exhibit B, you can see that if we would have kept the A200, the Success Center, and B300, renovate the second floor, ahead of new fine arts building for IBC, they could have been in jeopardy of losing that state funding for the fine arts building. So we recommended changing the priority by moving the fine arts building up over A200 and B300.
Yeah, my question wasn't so much about reshuffling the priorities. I think that probably makes sense. It was the reasons for the decline in enrollment.
Yes.
We're missing a summer session, or what's
Good
going
question.
on here?
Yeah.
Randy?
Did you say projected enrollment? Because projected is a guess.
Enrollment based on certain criteria, which Brandy will explain the specifics.
Hi.
Okay, go ahead. Randy,
So the
Molina?
state uses models to obtain their projected enrollments. And they were using a model called, I forget the name of it, but the model that they were using had a higher projection rate than the one that they're using now. It was called the triage, and it was used for only 3 years. And in that 3-year period, it projected enrollments at a higher rate than that which actually came in. As a matter of fact, the 6.25 that's being projected by the new model has been proven to be even lower than the actual projections statewide, which are coming in at 10% below previous. So it was a change in the way that they're modeling their projected enrollments. This new model that they'll be using is a more accurate reflection and more likely to be accepted by the Legislative Analyst's Office when they're considering state funding for capital improvements.
So it has, I think what I'm hearing you say is that it has absolutely nothing to do with actual enrollment?
Reality.
Projected enrollments don't have little to do with actual until actual comes in, and it turns out that projected is typically higher than actual. It works in our favor, except for when the model changes.
Okay, Vice Chancellor.
I did want to add, I thought I did, and I couldn't remember. In my written report, I do have a couple paragraphs on this, the State Chancellor's Office projected enrollments, where I discuss the triage and the change in methodology. So you can take a look at that as well.
All right. Seeing no further comments, do I have a motion to approve this item?
I'll move.
Trustee Jay?
Second.
Second, Trustee Meldau. Let's vote on the item. Okay, matter carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and student advisory yes vote. We are now at 6.4, so let's find that item, and that is the budget. So I'm going to let Deborah Fitzsimmons, Vice Chancellor, present this.
All right, good evening, Board President Padberg, Board of Trustees, Chancellor Portner, and members of the audience. You have before you the district's tentative budget packet for fiscal year 2012-2013 for your review and approval this evening. The budget has been thoroughly reviewed by both the Chancellor and myself and is conservatively based and a balanced budget, which is required by law. I wish to recognize our fiscal team, who have taken the lead on developing the tentative budget. It's a lot of hard work and have done a phenomenal job, as always. And I want to recognize Carol Hilton, Divit Kachatrian, they're both here tonight, Kim McCord, the presidents Rockmore and Burnett, and members of DRAC, BARC, and the college's planning and budget committees. It was a collective effort by all of you. This is truly a groundbreaking year for our district, as our integrated planning process have driven the budget allocation recommendations. As we move into this next year, we'll be fine-tuning our processes to enhance our new integrated budget and planning models so that we approve upon them. The newly formed District-wide Strategic Planning Council, the Basic Aid Allocation Recommendation Committee, the Capital Improvement Committee, and the District Technology Committee will be reviewing and evaluating the processes this year and adjust accordingly. Tonight, we'll be doing a brief presentation and outline major points regarding the tentative budget. The tentative budget is based on both actual information and conservative estimates utilizing both state and county information. The final budget is brought to you for your review and approval in August. The total budget for all funds is $549.4 million. If you turn to page 10 in your budget book, you can see that the majority, 92% of the general fund budget, or $195.8 million, is comprised of unrestricted funds, while the remaining $16.1 million, or 8% of the general fund budget, are restricted funds. Other funds total $337.5 million. The SB 361 portion is calculated to be at 66% of the unrestricted general fund budget. However, as a reminder, the district does not receive state apportionment funding because local property taxes and student enrollment fees calculate to be higher than the calculation for state entitlement. This calculation places us in basic aid status. The remaining unrestricted income sources are made up of basic aid, which is 20%, non-resident tuition, which is 2%, other including lottery, 4%, and the beginning balance, which is a carry forward of the prior year. It's at 8% of available unrestricted funds at $15.9 million. The revenue assumptions are state COLA at 0%, growth at 0%, and then because of workload reductions, the state has lowered the thresholds to achieve medium and large school status. So this increased the basic allocation for each of our colleges since we follow the state formula in our DRAC model. The increase for each college is $553,591 each. There has been workload reductions taken by the community college system over the past several years, and this year, if the tax measure does not pass, there could be more applied to community colleges. These reductions reduce funded FTS by a specific percentage. The Chancellor's office does not apply workload reduction to basic aid districts, and so that is not taken into account into these budget assumptions. However, for comparative purposes, if we were not basic aid, we would have reduced a cumulative of over $13 million, 11%, plus an additional $9 million this year, 7.3%, which would total $22 million since 2009-2010. Assumptions regarding property tax income is a key component of our budget planning. And income from property taxes are developed conservatively and in conjunction with working with the Orange County Auditor Controller's Office. OC Auditor Controller's Office is projecting tax revenue to be flat, and we have analyzed the historical trends, so we are budgeting them the same as last year for both secured and unsecured taxes. Enrollment fees have increased from $36 to $46 per unit, which is approximately a 28% increase. However, we anticipate that with the new fee increase, that more students will show need and that there is a potential for more bog waivers for those students. Therefore, we estimated fee revenues to increase 20% to be conservative. If you refer to page 14 in your budget book, you can see that the contingency reserve is calculated at 7.5%, or $10,335,056, in accordance with the budget development guidelines approved by the board. For the expenditures, please refer to page 11. The salaries and benefits account for about 88 to 89% of the expenses at the colleges and 83% at district services. The percentages for salary and benefits are within an acceptable range for best budget practices. Some of the detail of the budget assumptions associated with the general fund salaries and expenses are PERS rates at 12.5%, STIRS at 8.25%, decrease in unemployment insurance from 1.61 to 1.1%, workers' comp remains flat at 1.8%, and no salary increases were included in this budget for any of the employee groups. There is a new faculty salary schedule in place, and that was included as well as employee movement on the salary schedule with step and column. Any negotiated increases, once ratified for CSEA or POA, will be implemented in the final budget as appropriate. No estimated increase in health and welfare benefits were included in the tentative budget. However, at final budget, we're estimating those increases to be around 3 to 5%. We also anticipate an increase for property and liability insurance for final budget, as last year we received a large rebate, which offset the annual increase, which we will not have received this year. The rates will also increase due to a formula they use in calculating the rates using FTS, and our district-wide FTS number had increased over the prior year. We are making our second payment of $1.08 million for the fiscal year 2010-2011 Faculty Early Retirement Incentive Program, which is estimated to provide salary savings of $3.98 million over the 5-year period. So we're year in 2 of 5. The state is eliminating our excess PFE that we received. That is Partnership for Excellence program. As a reminder, it was a 50% reduction last year of $1.8 million, and it is totally being eliminated this year. Our budget strategy for those one-time continuing funds was conservative, and we used them, we placed this in the basic aid fund. So it's basically, thankfully, not impacting our continuing base operations. This slide shows the resources for this year's basic aid allocations. It's also good to see the history and trends, and you can see those trends on pages 15, and the individual basic aid projects on pages 16 through 19 in your packet. By looking at the trends on page 15, you can see they've gone up and down over the years, and that's why the philosophy of using the basic aid funds for one-time purposes have been extremely wise. If you look at this slide, you can see that the basic aid budget for the tentative budget is $93 million in total. This is unusually large due to the fact that we hardly committed any basic aid funds from this past year until the board policy and the administrative regulation were finalized and approved. This is a contingency for unrealized property taxes. There is one, which is also ultra-conservative because it's based on 2 years' worth of contingency. In reality, we have already realized 1 year's worth of taxes already. That contingency is 20% of the $93 million and equals $18.5 million. The total available for basic aid then is the $74 million at the bottom of the page. And you can see the project list beginning on page 16 through 19. Actually, page 18 has the new projects. These projects are the same ones we reviewed last month and we discussed at the May board meeting when we had the basic aid presentation. They include long-term obligations, capital programming, technical specialty and legal consulting, capital projects, scheduled maintenance and renovation, ATEP operations, and major technology projects. And we formatted these pages in the budget book so they could be more user-friendly this year. Here's a short recap of our basic aid funds being distributed under those categories. And if you're interested in all the previous committed projects funded through basic aid that are still active, they are listed out on page 16 and 17. The allocations and breakdown of the general fund between the unrestricted and restricted funds and the colleges and other major areas are listed out beginning on page 19. For state categorical funding, we budgeted at 95% of last year's budget to be conservative, and we tend to do this during the tentative budget period. Categoricals are the one area where the State Chancellor's Office has traditionally been able to cut basic aid funding, so we're still vulnerable in this area. Although the latest news at the state level through the Governor's Office and legislature is that it looks as if categoricals are remaining flat for this year. Since we're basic aid, we are buffered somewhat from some of those dramatic potential reductions that our sister districts may incur, but we tend to keep an eye on anything negative that might impact our district. Funds 71 and 72 are budgeted for retiree benefits, premiums, and the Retirement Benefit Trust, which is an irrevocable trust. This is to ensure that we're fully funding our OPEB obligation in accordance to GASB 43 and 45 and the board's philosophy of fully funding the unfunded actuarial accrued liability, which is called AAL, rather than amortizing the liability over some length of time. You can see these amounts on the table on page 22 in the columns on the far right side with the total funding equaling $69.9 million. And we do that report monthly on the OPED Trust, and you've been keeping track of that. Looking ahead to this coming year, you may be wondering, how will the state budget situation impact us? And it's not business as usual. However, politically, for basic aid districts, to have the new 4th District, San Mateo, become basic aid has helped us. Their jump to basic aid has saved the community college system approximately $49 million. And also, there's been some goodwill towards basic aid districts because of that. The statewide deficit for community colleges was significantly less because of that. It went from $170 million to $120 million because of that jump. It's speculated that 2 more districts might be entering basic aid this year. San Jose Evergreen and West Valley Missions will remain to see. Might be 6 districts coming up. The trend of further enrollment fees increases may also continue, so that's something we're going to be maintaining and watch on. What is the impact of this year's budget to the colleges and district services? Well, as you know, it's been increased pressure to district services and the colleges. You can see this when you read the President's messages in the budget book on page 4 and 5. We are entering our 5th consecutive year of no COLA, but continuing cost increases, including salary and benefit increases. The colleges did get a slight boost with the increase in the basic allocation. However, it is still very challenging for them and district services. Having said that, I want to emphasize that we are continuing to make prudent budget decisions. There are trade-offs that we continue to make, and having planning driving our budget allocation decision-making is essential to making good decisions that are in the best interest of our students, faculty, staff, and taxpayers. We are achieving greater operational efficiencies, and these efficiencies are enabling us to fulfill the goal of serving our students and providing them with excellent service and instruction.
Thank you. Do
This
we have
is the end
questions?
of the presentation, and we have all of us here to answer your questions, including the 2 fiscal officers at the college.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do I have any trustees with questions? Trustee Lang.
Yes. I'll ask President Burnett. I'll start with President Burnett, I guess, since this deals with the Saddleback budget, which I already gave him a heads up on, so I think he's somewhat prepared. But one of the things that we've talked about over the years is dollars that are being devoted to scheduled maintenance, I think, for both colleges. And one of the items that sort of jumped out to me when I reviewed the budget was that IVC, the newer campus, actually was putting greater percentage dollars of their budget towards scheduled maintenance than Saddleback, even though I know we've got a laundry list of scheduled maintenance type projects that Saddleback needs to address, and of course being an older campus exacerbated by that as well. And as you know, one of the things that I've talked about in the past is making certain that the colleges were doing appropriate scheduled maintenance and not just looking to basic aid dollars to handle scheduled maintenance as well as capital improvement projects. So perhaps you want to address that.
Certainly. Well, as you know, that's one of the issues that I've made since the day I walked in to this district. Scheduled maintenance is the single biggest fiscal issue with Saddleback College. Frankly, I might even say the whole district. With that said, so your question is a good one. First point, I think you're looking at the chart that's on page 11, which gives a percent breakdown. First, you should note that the category is capital outlay and other. So within both IVC and Saddleback College's budget, that line item isn't necessarily all scheduled maintenance. So in fairness, you should look at... It
makes it worse, not better.
Yes, that is yes and no, because I'm going to tell you the good news of the good part of this going forward. So first, just you should be scared. When you compare to IVC Saddleback, it may not be the case, because I don't know what IVC's actual dollars are. But in addition to that, you should note that we have money set aside for scheduled maintenance. That is money that we set aside from prior years for this year, which is far more than what you would even see of the dollar here. In fact, this amount was $1.26 million under the capital outlay and other. We have another $1.25 million that we have set aside Plus, we have, as you probably read through the new basic aid allocations, a 50% match. So that's another $1.25 million. So in total, we have $3 million, a little over $3 million, that is actually going towards scheduled maintenance for this next year, actual dollars, which on a percent basis would be far greater than the 1.3%. You could probably do the math there a little bit. With that said, as you also know, the district is still finalizing its 20-year facilities and scheduled maintenance plan that we're still waiting to get finished, so then we will know specifically, get us all on track of what would be the proper amount of dollars that we should spend per year at both campuses, on all of them, including ATEP. As well. So once that gets done, I think you as the board, obviously us, will have a better idea of really how much money we really do need to be spending specifically. For right now, the $3 million is a lot of money from our budget. Well, a lot of money on a relative basis for scheduled maintenance. Hopefully that answers.
Okay. Any other comments and questions from trustees? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve this tentative budget.
So move.
Trustee Jay? Second by Trustee Meldau. Let's all vote, please. Carries unanimously with 2 absent votes, or 2 absent seats, and 1 student advisory vote. We're now at 6.5. This is the Saddleback and Irvine Valley College tentative student government budgets. And I guess we will have Saddleback first. I'm not sure how we're going to have this presented.
Good evening. President Padberg.
Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Juan Avalos. I'm the Vice President for Student Services at Saddleback College. I had the privilege over the last year to work closely with our ASG student body, and I will be presenting to you our ASG President, Eric Bremen, who will provide the tentative budget. Eric?
Thank you, Dr. Avalos. Good evening, President Padberg, board members, everyone seated in the audience. My name is Eric Bremen. I'm Saddleback College's Associate Student Government President for the 2012-2013 year. With us today in the audience, if you would stand to be recognized, is Chelsea Goosens, the ASG Vice President, and Yasmin Ishayan, the ASG Chair of the Interclub Council. These two, along with the leadership's Asal Barami and Shireen Ibrahim, have been an incredible asset to the already outstanding success of this year's student government. It's a pleasure to be here today with you all. I truly appreciate your time, as well as the opportunity to present the ASG budget and advocate for the betterment of the student experience. I'll begin by explaining the process of allocating the ASG budget. We have 2 forces that collaborate, the Saddleback College Student Development Office and ASG's Budget Committee. Together, we project an estimation of the funds used for the 2012-2013 year, which I will be presenting today. Once these estimates are recognized, ASG then works with Saddleback's deans to establish grounds for utilizing the funds appropriately. Through the process, this conservative and practical budget is then presented to our Budget Committee, then ASG Senate. We have many priorities, from funding student scholarships to campus life activities, all of which have an educational impact, broadening student opportunities, ultimately leading to student success. As you can see, the budget is totaled at $521,875. Our funding consists of 3 sources. First, we have the estimated beginning fund balance, which consists of our $101,875 emergency reserve or contingency fund. The $111,875 listed includes an estimated $10,000 ending balance, which we're assuming was not spent in the past year. In the event that this estimation is exceeded, our summer budget committee will reallocate this amount economically in the ASG budget. Our second source of funding is our minimum guaranteed revenue. Saddleback's ASG receives funds from our bookstore, cafeteria, and various other on-campus vendors. Based on contract reviews 2 months ago, we estimated we'd be receiving $350,000. This $350,000 will be distributed to Saddleback College's divisions. The selling of our Associated Student Body stamps, also known as the ASP stamp, produces our third and last source of funding. The stamp is sold for $10 a semester and offers student discounts at specific on- and off-campus vendors. This is the only source of funding for ASG. We use the $60,000 for ASG's numerous individual programs, overall to enhance the student experience at Saddleback College. So how are these funds used? You should have 2 sheets in front of you. On one sheet, you'll see the budget divided by divisions. It entails what programs the divisions are funded. On the second sheet, you will see the budget split into 4 aggregate categories. This chart displays the various use of funds, including the 4 categories I mentioned. The other 3 categories, which I will further explain in just a moment. Our first category is campus life. Saddleback's ASG serves the student population as we endeavor to enhance the college experience by providing various student opportunities. Our programs are used to broaden these student opportunities through events and resources, which in turn aid retention, recruitment, and ultimately student success. As a community college, we hope to extend the significance of what a community college should represent. Included in the campus life are many ASG events and various other division programs and activities, including the Geography Conference, the Psychology Speaker Series, multiple film festivals, all of which are sponsored by ASG. In total, the campus life budget is $73,672. Next, we have co-curricular programs. Essentially, co-curricular programs are directly linked to the academic experience. The program could be linked to a specific division or academic discipline, for instance, but does not fund the actual course. These co-curricular activities truly set Saddleback College apart from other institutions because we provide extensive support for such programs that pertain to the interests of students and extend the experience to further one's self-development socially and academically simultaneously. These include nursing conferences, our nationally ranked speech and forensics team, and various other programs funded by this budget of $49,740. Next, we'll focus on a very prominent aggregate category, student support. ASG not only offers monetary scholarships for students annually, we also choose to extend our support to students by funding a variety of other programs which Saddleback College students would not be able to participate in without ASG funding. This includes our athletics department, our veterans mentorship program, and numerous ceremonies, awards, and services. These activities truly enhance the student experience at Saddleback College. We recognize our students' achievements, and we attempt to support the student population however possible. Student support totals at $109,588. Lastly, we will overview the explicit use of funds, which wasn't stated in the provided spreadsheets. First, we have our contingency or emergency reserve, which is $101,875. The bylaws of the Associated Student Government specify a mandated minimum of 10%, minimum of 10% of Saddleback AG's projected revenue to be a part of this contingency fund. Next is our allocation for Next is our allocation for the anticipated mid-year requests. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Apologize. Lastly, we will overview the explicit use of funds, which wasn't stated in the provided spreadsheets. First, we have the contingency fund, or emergency reserve, which is $101,875. The bylaws of the Associated Student Government specify a mandated minimum of 10% of Saddleback ASG's projected revenue be part of this contingency fund. Next is our allocation for anticipated mid-year requests. This is money we can use during the academic year when programs are initiated, if any. This fund is a mandated minimum of 5% of ASG's total projected revenue. And lastly, we have our scholarships and awards funded by a generous $78,000. It is an ASU priority to extend the student scholarship opportunity. ASU provides students with scholarships directly and also indirectly through the representation of divisions, for instance, the anthropology scholarship. The scholarship fund is mandated by a minimum of 10% of ASU's total projected revenue, though we choose to allocate these funds at a much higher level. In conclusion, based on the information provided through this presentation and on the spreadsheets provided, it's clear that this budget holds the value of the student support very high in terms of academic and non-academic programs, as well as monetary and non-monetary scholarships. The foremost priority in allocating the ASU budget has been to provide the student population with various opportunities and new experiences, leading to enriched lifestyles and student success. ASU's 2011-2012 Budget Committee, the Student Development Office, and Saddleback's administration did a phenomenal job in systemizing this year's ASU budget that is highly effective, conservative, and solid. Saddleback College is truly unique. The eminence of this institution is proof through the extension of our programs and beyond through our culture, faculty, and diverse student population. This year's ASU will allow for the utilization of this budget in the most effective manner, continuing the student potential to prosper. Thank you. I'll now take any questions.
Okay. Do you have any trustees with questions on the student budget, tentative budget? Okay. Seeing none, let's move to a vote on this. I'll entertain a motion to approve the tentative budget of Saddleback College.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Trustee Meldau moved, and second by Trustee Prendergast. Let's vote on the item. Okay, carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. We'll now move to, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move to the IVC student government budget, tentative budget, I should say.
Good evening, President Padberg, members of the board, Chancellor Portner, and President Rotmore and Burnett, and members of the governance groups and audience. I'm Helen Locke. I'm Director of Student Development at IVC, and I have with me this evening Peter Rowe, who's our treasurer, and I'll let him introduce our vice president.
Thank you, Advisor Helen. Good evening, President Padberg, members of Board of Trustee, Chancellor Portner, President Rockmore, and President Burnett, Shared Governance Representative, and members of audience. I'm Peter Rowe, ASIVC Treasurer, and this is Ponta DiMerci, our Vice President. And unfortunately, our President, Thomas Tien, could not join us due to his personal issues. It is our pleasure to bring you the ASIVC tentative budget for 2012-2013. I'll present the budget and welcome your question and suggestion at the end of the presentation. Thank you. I would like to begin with the process used to develop our ASIVC budget. As you can see on page 1, ASIVC has a budget and finance committee, which is outlined in our Constitution. We send our requests across the campus to all who wants to submit for ASIVC funding in early spring. Then the requests are reviewed by the BFC at the end of semester with representative of the committee consisting of outgoing and incoming officers. The BFC determines if the requests will be funded based upon criteria of our Constitution, board policies, uses of funds, and funding availability. Our next page is our sources of funds. We have $157,000 for our beginning fund balance. These are the unused funds from various accounts from the 2011-2012 budget and will most likely change for the final budget. Our minimum guarantee revenue includes the following income. From the bookstore, we'll have income of $350,000. From the cafeteria and vending, we'll have $50,000. And we have expenditure of $95,500 for last college assessment, which is utilities and office assistance, which sums up to minimum guarantee revenue of $461,500. And we also have estimated income of $45,000 for ASB activity sticker sale and $15,000 for our miscellaneous funds, which is the commission from bookstore and cafeteria during the summer session. Our total sources of funds is adjusted to reflect beginning fund balance. That figure is at $511,500. Our uses of funds are campus life, co-curricular programs, ASIVC operations, contingency, mid-year requests, scholarships, and student support. This is how our funding is distributed, and as you can see, our total uses of funds of $511,500, which equals to the total sources of funds. And our first program is our Campus Life, which we have allocated $47,000. Campus Life are programs that provide participation for students at IVC to experience the same opportunities that they would have at four-year university. Some of the examples are Club Days, Welcome Week, Multicultural Day, Black History, and Scholarship. Our next program is co-curricular programs, which we have allocated $239,536. Co-curricular funds support the competitive programs that enhance student success, contribute to retention, offer a national/state academic experience for students, involvement on campus, and fulfill accreditation requirements. Our competitive programs includes Model United Nation, Forensics, and Athletics. Our next program, we have allocated $17,800 for ASIVC operations. ASIVC funding covers operational costs of the student government offices, contract maintenance agreements for printer, copiers, and repairs of equipment in cafeteria and bookstore. And the examples are stated above on the PowerPoint slide. Student support program. We have allocated $54,700. These are the program grants that are supported by ASIVC funding that have far-reaching effect on all IVC students, validate their success, and provide opportunities to prepare for their major. Some of our examples are EOPS, career and transfer fairs, and journalism. Our next page is a grid for making sure we have a reserve, use up beginning fund balance appropriately, and show our interest in providing scholarships to our fellow students. The contingency/emergency reserves are 10% of total sources of funds minus beginning fund balance. The allocation for anticipated mid-year requests are a portion of beginning fund balance, which will be used for a one-time allocation. This will not be an ongoing expense, and we will review the requests from the spring that we were not able to fund for consideration. We also have a constitutional process for other one-time requests. Our scholarship fund now includes the original $60,000 dedicated to our students. This amount does serve our students, but if necessary, we would review the need and can make a mid-year decision to add more funds. The contingency/emergency reserve, mid-year requests, and scholarship portion of the budget is estimated at $152,464. Our last page is a pie chart, which reflects the breakdown of our budgets and depicts the percentage of allocation to the use of our fund categories. You can see that our competitive program receive a large part of our funding, which includes athletics. That concludes our presentation, and we'll take questions at this time.
Okay, do I have any trustees with questions for the IVC budget? Okay, Apparently, you've done a very good job. Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion, please, to approve the tentative budget for IVC. Trustee Lang moved, and who seconded it? All right, Trustee Jay seconded it, so let's vote on the item. Okay, Trustee Jay? Okay, carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. Thank you very much. We are now at 6.6, the District Maintenance Management and Facilities Planning Software and Implementation. And who is going to present this?
Yes. Last month, during the basic aid presentation, we did discuss the need for this project. This is the facilities software project that, once in place, will enable us to produce information needed for a 20-year facilities renovation and scheduled maintenance plan. So you have before you this item 6.6, which includes 4 contracts that need to be put in place with 4 different entities: SchoolDude, Alpha Facilities, Facilities Planning and Program Services, and the Foundation for California Community Colleges, per the amounts in Exhibit A.
Okay. So we are asked to approve this in one. It's an action item. Approve it.
It's one action item. We thought it would be better to put all 4 contracts in one action item because it is a comprehensive solution to this issue.
All right. Questions from board members? All right. Moved by Trustee Pendergast and seconded by Trustee Lang to approve the item. Seeing no request to speak, let's vote on the item. Carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. Thank you very much. We are at 6.7. This is board policy revision, and these are for discussion and approval. So they're Exhibit A through C, and you see the list up there of the policies. Any comments or questions about these revisions and approving them?
Move approval.
Moved by Trustee Jay.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Meldau. Seeing no one wishing to speak, let's vote on the item. Carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.8, these are for review and study board policies, and we have quite a few more of these. Do we have any trustees with questions? So this is an action item. We need to have a motion by Trustee Lang for review and study. Trustee Pendergast seconded it, so let's vote on the item. Carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. So very good. We are now at 6.9, and this is the Saddleback College Management and Reorganization Reclassification Approval. So this is going to be presented by our Chancellor, correct? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Vice Chancellor Bermucci, I think they're pointing at you. No, who? Todd. Okay, Burnett. President Burnett for Saddleback College.
Close. We're right next to each other here.
Hard here.
We get commonly confused. Anyway, this is, as you know, something that Saddleback College has been working on for well over a year, in combination with, the board's approval last month of the reclassification for managers and administrators throughout the districts. We brought forward these issues this time for now, the Chancellor and the college to bring forward. The reorganization, as you heard our guest speaker earlier today, which was our former transfer coordinator, had said, long in coming, where we have a disproportionate amount of workload assignments for having 1 dean in our student services. In our write-up, as you know, it states that most of the large community colleges in the state have at least 3 deans representing their student services. So it's no wonder that we came to the conclusion and for many years have known that we are inadequately administered in the responsibilities given out to our managers, administrators, and student services. So a 3-dean system works well. As I mentioned also, there are no increases or new positions being created. These are only reclassifications. And then, like I said, dividing up the responsibilities. We believe that this will be able to have us better positioned to deal with increasing our completion rates and providing better student support services, which will be critical in helping our students to increase our completion rates and to be more successful.
Okay, and we have had this in front of us previously, so are there any questions at this time from the board? Okay, moved by Trustee Lang, seconded by Trustee Meldau. So let's vote on the item. Carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. We will now move to 6.10, and this is, again, reorganization of college administrative structures. And this is going to be presented by who?
On this item, this is the follow-up of what President Burnett just talked about.
Okay, go ahead.
He presented the actual organizational
Vice Chancellor
structure.
did, yes.
And this will present the actual positions that will be going into those structures.
Okay.
So with that, you'll see the detail that's in there. There's the positions that President Burnett talked about, as well as one from President Rockmore's campus at IVC. So we recommend the Board of Trustees approve this as presented.
Okay. Moved by Trustee Lang, seconded by Trustee Prendergast. Let's vote on the item. Carries, whoops. So Trustee Lang, okay, carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.11, this is the Faculty Association Academic Employee Memorandum of Understanding.
After the last negotiating session with the Faculty Association, the very last time we agreed that we would form a task force to go back and review some areas that we felt needed to be addressed regarding labs. We formed jointly a task force consisting of 3 members from the Faculty Association and the district negotiating team, and we came to consensus with the recommendation you see before us unanimously on every single issue. So with that, we'd like to recommend that the Board of Trustees approve this MOU to amend the contract with the Faculty Association.
Very
Move
good.
approval.
Moved by Trustee Prendergast, seconded by Trustee Jay. Trustee Lang?
Yes, you don't mention anything in this item regarding fiscal impact, so be interested in some comment about that.
I don't have that listed in this item. The impact will be minimal because most of in almost each one of these cases, the labs are already loaded at what's called 5/6 of a load, and they'll be going from 5/6 to 1 full load. But I don't have the exact number. I can get back with you at a later date. That'd be okay. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's vote on the item. Trustee Lang? Matter carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.12, request to rescind the sabbatical 2012-2013 academic year. This is for one particular person, Kay Ryals, moved by Trustee Lang, seconded by Trustee Jay. Questions or comments? Okay. Let's vote on the item. Carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.13, academic personnel actions.
No changes.
No changes in this item. So could I have a motion for this, please? Trustee Lang? Trustee Jay seconded it.
Meldau.
Oh, Trustee Meldau seconded it. Let's vote on the item, please. Carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.14, classified personnel actions.
We'd like to make 1 change on this item, actually 2. If you look on page 18 of 21 of this item, on items B, 4, and 5, we'd ask that this item be modified to strike those 2 items from the agenda, that the board approve.
Strike B4 and 5?
B4 and 5.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. With those changes, I'll entertain a motion.
Move as amended.
Okay. Trustee Prendergast moved as amended, and Trustee Lang seconded. Let's vote on the item. Carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. We're now at 6.15, California School Employee Association Master Agreement Approval. Who's going to present this? Vice Chancellor
We spent well over a year in negotiation with CSEA. By the time we were done, you'll see the document you have before us. The CSEA membership ratified this today with a vote of 239 in favor and 4 opposed.
Wow.
So we have an overwhelming support of the membership of CSEA, and based on that and also the relationship we had in developing this, we'd ask the Board of Trustees to ratify this tonight as well.
Okay, very good. I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Moved by Trustee Jay.
Second.
Second by Trustee Meldau. Seeing no one wishing to speak, let's vote on the item. Carries unanimously with 2 absent seats and 1 student advisory yes vote. My goodness, we are now at 7.1, and this is the report on Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College speakers. Any comments or questions? This is information items only. Seeing none, we'll move to 7.2, the basic aid report.
No changes since last
No
month.
changes. Fine, and we've talked about this with the tentative budget. 7.3, facilities plan status report. Again, we went through this.
Presented, yes.
As presented. Okay. No comments. 7.4, monthly financial status report.
No significant items to report on this. Everything's in line as it should be this time of year.
Perfect. Thank you. No comments requested. The 7.5 retiree trust fund. Any
You
comments?
can see that the market did go down on this report at the end of May, and as of today, it's back up to $64 million. And this does go up and down. As you know, that's why we report the trends in the report that as we show it. And we anticipate that it will be going up and down per month.
Right. Yes. Okay. Pretty volatile. No comments or questions. We'll move to item 8, and that's our reports from our constituent groups. We'll start with Saddleback College Academic Senate. Paula Jacobs. No? Oh, I'm sorry. Bob Cosgrove.
Thank you. We continue to plan for our 30-some new faculty members who are coming in as replacements. And we have a 4-hour training session during in-service, and then we're planning to have, as I mentioned last time, an ongoing semester-long training session, an opportunity for previous year's faculty to come in and talk to the people closest to them who have gone through the bumps the previous year. In accreditation, we're working on our follow-up report, and that will be turned into the Chancellor in August. It'll probably be seen by the board in September, perhaps August. And then the midterm report, which all colleges, whether you get a clean bill of health on your 6-year report or don't, still have to turn in a mid-year report. And that report we are working on now. It's due October of 2013. One of the things I'd like to draw the board's attention to in our Flex program at Saddleback, we have on the first day of Flex, which is August 13th, a guest coming down from Long Beach Community College, David Morris, who was one of the original members of the Student Success Task Force. And because of his intimate contact with the task force, the battles that they had, and the probable outcome of what the legislation will be, he's an invaluable resource to the colleges and to the district and to the board. I'm inviting all of our colleagues, if they're available from IVC, to attend, and that'll be from 9:30 to 10:30 the first day. It's a standalone session because it's so important to us that that student success idea be understood by the college community. And finally, we are putting together the final touches of our new faculty, and this year we're adding our new academic administrators little booklet where we have a picture and a brief bio of each of the faculty members who are coming in. In the past, this has been well received, and I said this year we're adding our academic administrators to it because it is a community college. It's not a standalone of one group kind of bumping into another group. We're really trying to integrate what's going on. Thank you.
And the event that you announced, what day is that?
It's August 13th from 9:30 to 10:30.
Okay. All right. Okay. And our faculty association, Paul Jacobs. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Claire
Claire-
Cesare.
that's okay.
Claire Cesare Silva. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm Claire Cesare
Hard-
Silva.
hard to
I'm
keep up.
President-elect of the Faculty Association. I'm sitting in for Paula, who's
Okay.
in Washington, D.C. today. So the Faculty Association is in the process of transitioning to new leadership, and it's a big transition this year because, of course, as you know, Bill Hewitt is not treasurer anymore, and he was in that position for quite a few years, so that's a big transition that's taking place within the association. Also, we're working with David Bouguet on getting new office space for the Faculty Association. We were had to leave our current space because which was in fine arts at Saddleback College, because it's going to be used for a faculty office. So we're in the process of working with him on acquiring that space, and it's very important for us to have a space so that we can serve all of the members. We are planning a number of in-service events, our regular luncheon. We're also planning a special welcome luncheon for the new full-time faculty hires. And finally, Paula Jacobs did represent the Faculty Association at the recent district retreat on barriers to mutual respect, cooperation, and collaboration that the Chancellor mentioned earlier. So she was at that and participated in it. Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you. Now, Irvine Valley College Academic Senate. Kathy Smiley.
Microphones, wow.
Yeah, have to share.
Thank you. Our Academic Senate is much more in repose over the summer than is Saddleback's, but I commend my colleagues. Are you? Other than myself, we're mostly absent. But we're in communication by email. I commend my colleagues at Saddleback for their proactive introduction for their new faculty, and I'll take their example back to IVC and see what we can put together. We've had for several years sessions during the year for new faculty to introduce them to the campus and to the various things that happen on the campus, but the notion of a booklet and flex activity for them sounds like a very good idea, and we'll see what we can put together as well to follow their lead. Our accreditation work is also ongoing over the summer, as are various works having to do with student success and other ongoing SLO work and so forth, all ongoing, and reports about those will be coming to the board in the next few months.
Thank you. And Associate Vice Chancellor of Economic Development, Eddie Peebles.
Thank you, President Padberg. I have a brief update on the development progress at our ATEP site in Tustin. The demolition of all the ground structures, with the exception of Building 26, is now complete. The contract for the last building, of course, has been approved, but we're still working on getting some insurance documents through the Navy and City. The next phase of demolitions would be for the in-ground or at-grade structures like buildings, foundations, the tarmac, roads, walkways, and retaining walls. Well, these plans are now ready for the City of Tustin and the Navy to review. The district should be able to go out for contractors by the end of the year, but this will, of course, depend on how long it takes for the Navy and the City to finish their review. After this phase is complete, with the exception, of course, of the 1.5-acre campus run by IBC, the entire site will be in a rough graded condition. The 10-acre land exchange ongoing with the County of Orange is progressing and on track as planned, and we're now in what's called the due diligence phase in the escrow proceedings. That's going well. Lastly, the district and City of Tustin continue to be making very good progress in our negotiations for a land exchange and an improved campus configuration and a comprehensive development agreement. Thank you.
Okay. And President of Irvine Valley College.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to welcome Dr. Kathy Schmeidler here as our brand new Academic Senate President. And our first meeting is set, and I believe it's going to be a medieval joust to begin with. And no, that's not true. I've known Kathy for a very long time. That's right. That's right. I look forward to a great relationship as we work together. Also like to congratulate Jim Wright and congratulate you on that appointment as well. But another congratulation, as I thought about what the Chancellor was saying, but to congratulate our Chancellor, Gary Portner, on his leadership in what he was saying and everything that's been going on in terms of planning, overcoming barriers, work on mutual respect, and now new leadership on the completion agenda and student success. I've been in the district since 1990, and I have to tell you that I've never seen this level of collegiality. I've never worked harder in this job, but I've never enjoyed it more than I do, because we're working on all the right things, and so I congratulate you for that.
And then finally, to make this quick, we have another hire, and he is here, and I would like to introduce him. He's our new Director of Research Planning and Accreditation. We stole him from Cabrillo College, and he happens to also be an expert on student success and completion. In fact, he's the one that wrote our strategic plan, but he wrote it for Cabrillo, and we stole it. So now we're legitimate because we have him. I'd like to introduce Dr. Craig Hayward. Thank you.
President of Saddleback College, Todd Burnett.
Thank you. First, also, congratulations, Dr. Wright. Also, congratulations to the CSE contract. Congratulations to our board, Chancellor, and David. Last week, had sent out an email. Hopefully, you were able to read it, but I do want to reiterate what it said. As you might have read, Saddleback College just completed an unprecedented statement of mutual respect and collegial behavior. It's the first time the campus has worked together to create a statement like this of things that we maybe take for granted, things that we hope that we're all going to do, but to put it down in writing and the types of things is a big accomplishment for any organization, let alone such a diverse and large organization as Saddleback College. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank some very important players in this, and first and foremost is our Academic Senate, Classified Senate, ASG, and management that all worked so collegially together to develop this very important statement. And then second to our district's Faculty Association, CSEA, and POA that also reviewed it, signed off on it, and also helped and made some important contributions. So thank you to all of you, and I think this is very much in line with what Chancellor Portner, the board, the presidents, and everybody else is trying to do for this district, as my colleague had just mentioned as well about never working better together than where we are today, and I think this is indicative of that. Finally, our second, I'd like to invite you all. You'll get an invitation, but on July 27th, because it's before the next board meeting, please write this down. That's if you like breakfast, but even if you don't, please come. We're going to have a dedication of our new bridge that's going to be out there, and it's a secret dedication. We can't tell everybody just yet, but you'll all be very pleased on this dedication. Certainly would really very much enjoy and would encourage the board of members to all come as well. Once again, 7:30 a.m. on the 27th. It's a Friday. Finally, I start vacation in literally about 3.5 minutes. So I wish everybody a wonderful summer.
Just trying to make us jealous. Okay. Vice Chancellor of Technology and Learning, Bob Ramucci.
No report this evening.
Okay. And Vice Chancellor of Human Resources, David Begay.
Tonight, the Board of Trustees approved two different things, one with the Faculty Association MOU, and that came about by working well with them and being very transparent. Neither side ever gives in, so to speak. We were both very clear and very open and direct, and I think that actually goes a long ways toward developing a good long-term relationship. You'll see the same with CSEA. We had a fabulous team on the district side and CSEA as well. We spent a lot of time working on some small issues, but getting it right. And I think that was seen tonight in reflection by the board ratifying it as well as CSEA. We do have a couple things coming. You'll be seeing hopefully soon with the Faculty Association. STIRS has changed how they do business. We can no longer do back pay with any STIRS retirement programs without suffering a penalty and interest rates. So that'll affect negotiations in the future for every single community college in the state of California, but especially over here. So we're working in collaboration with the Faculty Association to resolve that. On a much more interesting note than that, twice a year our Human Resource Department goes to Camp Pendleton, where we try to recruit some of the families and some of the soldiers returning back for classified staff members as well. That was rather fun this last couple weeks. Thank you.
And our Vice Chancellor of Business Services.
I just wanted to point out that over the last probably 6 weeks, we've been working on business process analysis. We've been wanting to do this for a while, to take a look at our processes to see if we can make them more efficient, more user-friendly, move from manual processes to electronic processes, and model best practices. And the ideal time to do that is right before we would go through a procurement for an HR financial software system. So that's what we're doing, and what we're learning is what we're currently doing, and it's mind-boggling how many extra steps we have in processes that are really very unnecessary. And so it's been well attended, and people have been giving very positive feedback for allowing the opportunity to go through this process analysis. And I believe that as we go through the procurement steps for a new system, it's going to make a more better process for having done that. Thank you.
Okay, very good. And our president of IVC Classified Senate, Dennis Gordon.
Thank you, President. I just wanted to report 2 quick items. 5 of our Classified Senate members attended the California Community College's Classified Senate Leadership Conference last week. We had 4 of our members presented workshop sessions, one on leadership skills, one on accreditation, and then G. Dixon and I presented 2 sessions on Senates and unions working together, which is a very popular one. So thank you. Also, during the conference, our Classified Senate past president, Angela Mahaney, was recognized with an award for outstanding service to the 4CS organization. So just wanted to report that.
Great, thank you. And our CSEA president, Chief Dixon.
Actually, I'm past president.
Oh, okay.
Our president had an injury and broke her wrist in 2 places.
Oh.
So I'm stepping in.
Okay.
And I just want to say, Madam President and the members of the board, that CSEA Chapter 586 negotiating team is very happy. We are just so excited to announce that our contract has been ratified and the membership it's just awesome. We want to thank Dr. David Begay, who was great and who has an awesome sense of humor, and all of the administrative negotiating team for working with us. We believe that the ratification of this contract is a sign of district and campus cooperation and compromise from both sides. We'd like to also thank the college presidents, both presidents, and the management staff for their support in encouraging our members to attend the informational meetings and acquire full understanding of our contract modifications, and also for providing flexibility in members for being given time to exercise their right to vote today, to participate in the democratic process. That was awesome. We appreciate that. The district and CSEA should be proud of the accomplishment in the negotiating process and just getting the job done. Lastly, but not least, we'd like to thank you, the Board of Trustees, for the final approval. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, that is a big milestone, and we appreciate it too. All right, our president of the Saddleback College Classified Senate, Don O'Neill.
We too participated in the CLI conference. One of our staff member here, Russ Hamilton, is the president of the 4CS, so he helped organize the organization every year, and also the conferences. And we, too, enjoyed that short little break that we had without instruction, although Classified continued to work hard with students and make sure that they are successful in their endeavors. Now it's back to work, and as you can see, we're hiring and reorganizing, and hopefully that will improve campus climate. Many Classified employees have told me tonight beforehand that choosing Jim Wright as a new trustee is definitely a step in the right direction. Thank you.
Okay. And our Saddleback College student government president.
I just want to say it's a pleasure meeting you all today, and thank you for your time. I look forward to working with you all through the coming year.
And a great presentation of the tentative budget. And now we have our IVC ASG president. I'm sorry.
Actually, Vice President.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't see that well.
Our president couldn't be here today.
Okay.
Just want to say thank you for approval of the budget. Thank you very much. Hopefully I can come to the other meetings also. I'm going to be looking forward to working with all of you. Just want to say we had successful elections for the next year, and what we're going to be implementing is Parliamentary Brown Act and position training for our new elected officers, and which is going to be taking place on Flex Week, and we're currently planning our Welcome Week for the new and returning students, and then thanks again for the budget approval.
Great.
That's it.
You're so
Thank you.
welcome. All right, we are finished, and I would like to recommend this, I think is a repeat, but that we adjourn in honor of former trustee Fuentes tonight. So thank you very much. Good night.